Hey, what's up, everybody? So I'm coming to you today with I'm bringing my Shut the Fuck Up series back, and this one's going to be on Joseph Diaz Jr. following his disgraceful missing of weight this past Saturday, February 13th, when he headlined a DAZN card against Shavkat Rakhimov in a 130-pound IBF title fight. Now, Diaz was the champion coming in. He lost the title on the scales. He missed weight. 133 pounds, 33.6. He was supposed to weigh 130. And, to me, that was just, that's the second time he's missed weight in the last couple years. And pretty big fights, too. He had, I want to say 3 years ago, after he lost to Gary Russell Jr., he bounced back and took on Jesus Rojas, and he missed weight at featherweight, and that's what caused him to move up to 130 at the time, where he, got himself in line and everything. And, I like Joseph Diaz a lot. I do. He had that fight with Gary Russell where he really tested it out to see how good he really was. He's beaten some good. You look at his resume, he's got some decent names on his resume. But Gary Russell was a huge step up. He was a mandatory challenger. Now it was a fight that Golden Boy could have avoided because it's a tough fight to make with the PBC. But because it was a mandatory fight, Joseph Diaz came in. He wanted the fight. He pushed for it. First half of the fight was competitive. He was doing well against Gary Russell. But then Gary Russell, being the very good veteran that he is, took over the fight in the second half and didn't look back. Outworked, outboxed, outclassed Joseph Diaz. Convincing decision. No shame in losing your first fight. First crack at a title to Gary Russell. Gary Russell's very good. But then he misses weight for Rojas, which, hey, you miss weight once, I give you a pass. I'll give you a break. But to miss weight again, especially after he really proved, like, I knew and I still know how good Joseph Diaz is, and I think I knew it a little bit better than most people, because when Joseph Diaz finally got the Tevin Farmer fight, a lot of people were in love with Tevin Farmer, and I thought Farmer was a good southpaw, but I didn't think he was unbeatable, and I thought Joseph Diaz could win, and I picked Joseph Diaz to win, and Joseph Diaz beat Tevin Farmer, and he beat him straight up. It was a close fight. It was competitive. But Joseph Diaz got the win, clearly, in most people's eyes, and won a championship, his first world championship. So, but ever since then, I've lost a lot of respect for Joseph Diaz, because there was a mandatory rematch clause in the contract. That was the whole point of Tevin Farmer fighting Diaz, was he wanted a rematch clause. Joseph Diaz agreed to it. I know COVID hit, and Diaz got a bad cut in that fight and was like, hey, I want time to recover. But he straight up avoided the rematch and found some kind of a loophole to where he could get out of the rematch. He even went he wanted to fight Abner Mares, who has not fought in a few years now. I think his last fight might have been 2018 against Leo Santa Cruz. Totally undeserving of a title shot, but Mares has a name, so he wanted to fight Abner Mares. I didn't respect that at all. That really started the tarnishment of Joseph Diaz for me, because I couldn't understand why he didn't want to fight Tevin Farmer. The first fight was exciting. They would probably main event the rematch, and Farmer's got a decent name. It would have been a good option for him, but he wanted easier opposition. And I'm like, why? You already beat the guy. You can beat him again. And, he just didn't want that work. And I was surprised by that. And I gave him a pass because of COVID. And then when he wanted Abner Mares, I gave him a pass there. And then I gave him some props when, instead of fighting Farmer, he decided to face a lesser-known guy, an undefeated Shavkat Rakhimov. Fast forward to now. And I gave him respect for wanting to fight his mandatory instead of Farmer, because his mandatory, less of a name, and maybe same amount of risk, maybe less of a risk too, but I look at that as high risk, low reward. You already know Tevin Farmer. You know he doesn't have huge punching power. He probably can't hurt you. Do you really know Shavkat Rakimov, who's a straight comer, got a lot of knockouts? The point is Diaz could have fought Tevin Farmer and all the time that he had off before he fought Shavkat Rakimov. And, you know, he decided to wait around and make his mandatory. And, you know, there was a respect there. I didn't agree with him not fighting Farmer, but I gained some kind of a respect for him and said, okay, you know, maybe he knows what he's doing. And I was hoping, you know, hey, Farmer down the road, he comes back, he gets Rakimov out of there, you know, wins a close decision, and we're all good. But then he comes and does this, you know, misses weight, and not even close. You know, it's one thing to miss weight, but he didn't even come close, guys. 133.6, when you're at 130, you didn't try. That's almost 4 pounds. He was closer to the lightweight limit, the next division up, than he was the junior lightweight limit of 130. And then his attitude. He wasn't, you know, it didn't bother him. He was like, yeah, I'm not really disappointed because, you know, he was like, I'm not really disappointed because I'm not going to risk my life. And it's like, okay, if it was that much, you may just get out of the fight earlier. Shut up and get out of it earlier. You know, say, hey guys, I'm not going to be on weight. I apologize. I take this serious. I still want the fight. I'll still come in under the 10-pound limit the day of the fight, you know, but I'm not going to make weight. You know, if you're really worried about killing yourself, you knew the day of the fight that you weren't going to be on weight. He had to have, you know, and that was just a straight disrespect that, you know, and then he would say that to his fans after, that he doesn't really care, that he's not going to risk his life. Like, all right, dude, you know, everybody else was able to make it. I heard Shavkat Rakimov was struggling to make the weight too, and he made the weight. Everybody else on the card made the weight. You know, this is not your first time missing weight for a big title fight, because that fight with Rojas was for a secondary world title at featherweight. And, you know, Joseph Diaz, I'm just going to tell you right now, man, I heard you got a DUI, you had some personal issues. I get it, but shut the fuck up and stop talking and go fucking get your shit cleared up, because I'm pissed off now. I like you, and you disgrace the sport, and your excuses are weak. They're soft, and you, my friend, were soft around the belly, and that's why you didn't come in weight. And as I said on my podcast last night, and I'm going to say it again, I looked up the softest colors. I just type in softest colors. And one that stood out, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because Joseph Diaz likes to color his hair for every fight. It was orange this past fight. Well, one of the softest colors there is delicate violet. So Joseph Diaz, I want you to fight the next time out as delicate violet. And do me a favor, shut the fuck up. This is my Shut the Fuck Up series. I only bring it out when I'm pissed off. And I'm pissed off at Joseph Diaz because he's a good-sized name on the rise. You know, Golden Boy Promotions has invested a lot in him. And he's one of their big guys that they want to see succeed. And, you know, the fans, he does have a good fan base. That's why he got the main event. I mean, Joseph Diaz and Shavkat Rakimov, when you got Brian Castaño and Patrick Teixeira as the co-feature, I mean, that was a better matchup. On paper, that was a way better matchup. But because Diaz is a big name and Golden Boy digs their boy in Diaz, they gave him the main event slot. And for me, you need to show up. And I'm glad that a draw was rendered, and you now for sure are not getting another opportunity. He is not getting another opportunity at the IBF title. Not next anyways. The IBF already came out and ordered Shavkat Rakimov to fight the next available contender, which is Kenichi Ogawa, who's the number 3 fighter, for the vacant title. And I'm happy for Shavkat Rakimov because he fought at a disadvantage against a guy who was 4 pounds heavier, and he almost beat him. The fight was scored a draw, and I'm glad it was scored a draw, that Joseph Diaz didn't get a win on his resume here for missing weight when he was at a disadvantage, because most people, even if he won, would have been like, so what? You know, so Joseph Diaz Jr., I like you, bud. I like your potential now. But you disappointed me. You disappointed your fans, your promoter, everybody. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be disappointed in yourself. But you don't care about none of that, according to you. So you know what? Shut the fuck up and go get your shit together. Come in and make weight. Take it serious. And maybe I'll give you some love again. But for now, as I said for the last time, shut the fuck up, Joseph Diaz Jr. You don't deserve to be talking. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. You know me, True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.